Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am reviewing Stillwater. Stillwater is a movie that stars Matt Damon, and it was one of those films I went into blind. I didn't know nothing about it, but in a nutshell, the plot of the movie is Matt Damon plays this guy who is like an oil rig worker, works to do with oil or like fracking and, you know, like drilling into the ground, etc. Basically his character's that you know, he's got a daughter which he's like hasn't been the greatest dad in the world, and his daughter really is going through a tough time. She's in prison for something that she didn't do, and he goes to France to visit her because that's where she's in prison. He obviously lives in America, but he goes over there. He ends up staying there for a few months because he all of a sudden wants to become a great dad, and he wants to try and bust her out of like prison, or like not so much bust her out, but like prove that she's actually innocent. And I guess it takes him on a little path. You know, I'm not going to be giving anything away in this because I think it's one of those films, just right off the bat, I think people should watch it. I think it's a good watch. One of the things that did strike me when I was booking the tickets, etc., was that the film is 140 minutes. So it's a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, which is an extremely long film for something that hasn't really, like the plot, as I just said, the plot doesn't have that much substance. So it didn't have to be as complicated, or it didn't have to be as long as what the plot says, you know what I mean? There was good moments, there was bad moments. How I felt like it was all laid out was quite good, but there was just this bit in the middle which like has a lull. And if the film is going like this, then it's obviously not really like ticking all the boxes you wanted to tick. There was some good moments in there, and I think Matt Damon played quite a good role. I felt a bit like, I guess, related to him in terms of, I felt a bit sorry for him as a guy. You know, you just want to be a good dad, you know, like I'm not a dad yet, but I know that the feeling that I'm gonna have, you want to care for the ones you care for, and he's trying to prove that he can, and you know, he's doing all the right things, but obviously he's just still messing up as he's trying to do the right thing, if that makes sense. So that was relatable, and that was well done. But there's about 40 minutes in the film where, you know, he's obviously trying to like do the case, I guess, trying to like help his daughter out, but then for 40 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes of the film, there was like no relation to the case at all. It kind of didn't even touch on that at all. And then, like I said, for like 30 minutes there was just this other bit going on, and then we picked it back up towards the end. I felt like that middle bit could have just been like a montage for like 2 minutes, and then like cut from the film entirely, and you know, made it like an hour and 50-minute film or something. Yeah, that was a bit of a strange one for me. It just felt like this is like additional scenes in the middle of the actual film. That's how I felt. It was a really weird one, but as I say, it wasn't a deal breaker for me. I still had a good time with it. There could have been some better things in there in terms of, as I say, the script being laid out, but also just, it was one of those films that felt a bit like an independent film. Felt a bit like Matt Damon was making it himself. You know what I mean? He was funding himself. It was a good-ish story. The casting was quite strong, but you know, one of those films that just felt a bit like a yo-yo. Like 1 minute he's there in one scene, the next minute he's visiting his daughter again, the next minute he's on a different scene. It just felt like it was just moving back and forth, that's the middle scene being back and forth in the viewing room chatting to his daughter, etc. There was a moment where his daughter was getting released on day release, and they had like a nice montage, and that was good. I liked that. But yeah, so the film for me was one of those. It was to and fro in. So my review and my rating of this is going to be a 4 out of 10. Below average, you know, 5 out of 10 is very much like a good film, but you know, 4 out of 10, it's not one that I'm going to be like, oh my god, I need to have in the collection, etc. But it's not going to be one that if I saw it and, you know, it was cheap or whatever, I'd pick it up, because it's one that I would watch again. But it's that little bit in the middle that really did throw me. I was in the cinema just like, what's going on with this? Like, why does this bit exist, you know? The ending of the film, though, I thought ended it quite well. There was a bit where he was getting to know like this girl and her daughter, and then all of a sudden like that story just fell away, like it wasn't readdressed. So the ending didn't really answer all the questions as well, which doesn't help. But yeah, 4 out of 10 is quite fair. I think just below average. You know, it is what it is. One of those films. I'm glad I saw it, which I guess is always a good thing, but you know, it is what it is. So there it is, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Stay tuned for more coming soon, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new, because it really helps out the channel. See you in the next one. Goodbye.